Good morning. This is Jason D. Jason D coming live at you again from Film Fanatic headquarters. Hope everyone's doing good. It is Tuesday at about 10:24. So yeah, I will be doing actually this will be my last Film Fanatic video for a little while. Probably for like a week or two, week and a half. I'm going to be going on tour with Troy Youngblood, who has a band called Bookhead Teeth, who is Troy is a really super cool guy, one of the nicest people. The whole band is great. Alex, Al Crichton, um, Dan Miller, and so it's a band that I've been playing with for. I started playing with Dan and Troy and everybody. It was probably about a year and a half ago. I have an old friend who I used to play years and years ago. I used to play with regularly, Ezra Rugg, who is a really fantastic bass player. He also took up the drums later on and became a pretty good drummer and started playing lots of drum gigs. And so for I believe a few years he was playing with Troy and the rest of those guys, the rest of the fellas. And he was playing drums with them for a while. And I think it was about maybe 2 years ago or so. He There were a couple of gigs that he couldn't do, so he asked me about like basically being a sub and filling in for him. So I played a handful of gigs with Troy, and right away I was like, these guys are really cool. Like it's the music is mostly original. There's a few covers, but it's mostly original based. It's all very soulful, kind of. It's got a little bit of a funk influence, a New Orleans kind of influence. Um, Very blues based, and one of the elements that I really love about the band is that there is an aspect to where the band does like jam or improvise quite a bit on some of the songs. So some of the songs can be, kind of on the longer side of things because there is like lots of improv, which is a lot of fun in a lot of ways because it does change up the vibe each gig. Like it's kind of never the same old scenario. It's always a little bit different because of that. And Troy's a pretty tremendous talent. So I've been playing with him for a little while and almost I'd say almost 2 years. And so he's a touring musician. He's done lots of kind of national tours, and so he did a couple of tours last year solo. And I think it was in the spring. And so he had this whole idea to basically try to take the whole band on the road. So he kind of put together this whole thing. It was like probably January, February of this year. So all the details, all the variables that entails, because it's a lot of moving parts. And it all kind of came together. So we're leaving tomorrow morning, super early in the morning, to go to start the first show, which will be in New York, and then we go down to Virginia. Virginia is going to be the farthest part that we will go, and we'll be down in Virginia on the 4th of July. So very excited about that. I haven't done any big tours in a very, very long time. I have some tour experience. I was in a band that I was in two projects. One was a regular full time band, and we started to play in New York and Vermont and Connecticut. We were mostly locally based. I had another project that I was playing with where we did do a tour and we went to New York, and we played I think we played in Pennsylvania. It was a country band that I was playing in at the time, and then also the last time I went on the road, I guess technically was we were doing that quite a bit with Quantum, my electronic band Quantum. There was a time where we were going on the road a lot and playing down in Vermont and Connecticut, Massachusetts, and we were playing in New York quite a bit, and then we played a few really fun shows in Montreal, Canada. But since then, it's been a while. Since then, everything that I've been doing has been, pretty much local, and so or around the state. So it's been a while. So, hopefully everything goes pretty smooth, and but there will be a lag on videos. So that is the main reason of talking about that. So today's show will be on a movie that again is a part of the collection. I bought about, I think it was probably like 3 weeks ago. I bought a bunch of movies. I went to Opera House Video. They had a big sale, and I got a bunch of movies there. They do these street sales like probably 2 3 times a year, where they take all of their movies or their uh, surplus of movies that they just don't have room for, or movies where they have multiple copies of a particular title, and they'll sell them. And then the cool thing is, Opera House Video gets the cash. They get the money, and it goes directly into them as a business. So they do really well with it. Every time I've gone, there's always been a ton of people there. I've gotten some really fantastic movies due to going there. And then, of course, my favorite place to go is Bull Moose. And I've been going to the Bull Moose in Bangor quite a bit. Might take a little bit of a break just because I have gotten pretty inundated with the amount of movies that I have. And there's quite a few that I still need to eventually watch. And so all of the shows lately, the last month or two, or maybe more, have been all about these new purchases. Pretty mixed. There's been a lot of DVDs, probably overall mostly probably Blu-rays. I try to buy Blu-rays. That's usually my most sought out physical media as for when it comes to movies. Just because of the sheer quality, and you get, a lot of the times you get more bang for your buck. You get, I'm a big special features person, so you get tons of additional information. The artwork is great. I still do buy DVDs. You know, for example, at Opera House Video, they did have. I did get a few Blu-rays, but they also had a lot of cool movies, really good editions of movies I have never seen on DVD. So I snagged those up. Today is on a movie that I have never seen before, and I finished it last night, and it's just totally fabulous. And that is Horrors of the Black Museum. This is like an old school movie, super old. Never seen it. I got this beautiful edition of this movie. 1969. What a great cast, too. Graham Kernell, Jane Cunningham, Michael Gough. Of course, Michael Gough. I have, over the last few years or so, I've gotten quite a few movies, obviously, and Michael Gough has been in a bunch of these movies. And Michael Gough was, well, the way I came across him was he played Alfred in Tim Burton's Batman. That was the first movie I had ever seen him in. And over the years, I've bought a bunch of movies, and Michael Gough has been in a ton of these movies when he was a lot younger. He's pretty young in this, and he's the lead in this movie. But this movie's great. It's a horror movie. It takes place in this museum. There's kind of this theme of this like mad scientist or crazed doctor, and there's also it's kind of a monster movie, and it's super spoofy, pretty goofy. One of the coolest things too is there's this like opening kind of credit sequence called Hypno Vista, which is basically kind of this short movie about the audience becoming hypnotized through these visual cues. It's super interesting, and it's a separate thing from the movie, and it's really awesome. It's amazing, super trippy, super psychedelic. I loved it. This is a beautiful edition too. There's some really cool archival interviews. This, again, this is from '69. Pretty old school movie. Pretty low budget, and but yet it does have a feel of like a classic Hollywood. It does have that classic Hollywood kind of aesthetic, but definitely great. Pretty cheesy, pretty ridiculous. Kind of a B movie also, but it harkens back to movies that were done in that classic Hollywood style. But this is definitely a horror movie. It's pretty gory actually. It's actually there are a few scenes of where people get their heads cut off. It's pretty impressive when it comes to the kills. Very cool music, very cool direction. Did not know anything about this movie. I bought this movie under some time restraints. I was in one of the last times, well, the last time I went to Blue Moose, I was on my way. It was in Bangor, and I was on my way to a doctor's appointment, and I was running a little bit late, and I definitely, after my appointment, I had to go to work, so I had to basically hightail it out of there and go to work and get ready for work, and so there wasn't any time after my appointment to go to Bull Moose because Bull Moose is it was literally it's like 2 blocks from where my appointment was. So what I decided to do is if I left a little early, then I would go there first, and I was able to get there, but I was running behind on time. But I was still able to go, and I got some killer movies. This movie was also directed by Arthur Crabtree, and I do not know who Arthur Crabtree is. I probably have seen some of his movies. Horrors of the Black Museum, of course. Uh, Madonna of the Seven Moons, Friend Without a Face. Very prolific director. He made a lot of movies in the 50s and 60s. Dear Murderer, There Were Sisters, Fanny by Gaslight. But this movie's awesome. I don't believe I have any other of his films. This was the first, a new discovery. But killer movie. Kind of a low budget exploitation movie in a lot of ways. Michael Gough is awesome. He's kind of the lead of this movie. Again, it's got some great kills. And, considering this came out in '69, ahead of the time, ahead of the curve, it's got this obvious, dated quality to it, but any of those things that would normally hold back a movie, I think for this movie, make it that much cooler. But very cool movie, very awesome. Super excited about this movie. Beautiful edition on Blu-ray. You can't go wrong with Blu-ray. So, yeah, this is a great purchase. Super excited that I got this. Never seen it before, and I'm super excited now I can add it to my collection. So, thanks again, and we will see you next time. Peace.